9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let's move on to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined this morning?
Krishna, Padma Sakhi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Priti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padmasaki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Padmasaki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and wishing Bala Vrinda all the good luck first day of school.
Hare Krishna, Padma Sakhi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and to all the assembled devotees. This is Megha from Nepal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mega Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Sakhi Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidasi from Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Aditi Devidasi from Canada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Aditi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padmasaki Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Induleka Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln. Mataji Prabhuji is also on the call.
Yes, Mataji, just. Hare Krishna, Induleka Karna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Prabhupada, all goes to Guru and Gauranga, all goes to all the Sangha devotees. Hare Krishna. I am Kamala Gopi Devi Dasi from Toronto. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamala Gopi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, always to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call once again. So today we are fortunate to have His Grace Baladev Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number Canto 6, Chapter 1, verse number 62. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association to all of us this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Before I hand over the call to you, Prabhuji, with your permission, I would like Aditi Devi Mataji to read a brief introduction about Prabhuji. About you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Mataji, please take over.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, His Grace Baladev Prabhuji. This is a brief introduction for His Grace Baladev Prabhuji. His Grace Baladev Prabhu is a senior brahmachari at Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Temple, Ishkon Chowpatty. He is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji was born in a devotee family. Academically, he has a bachelor's degree in physics. He worked for some time before dedicating his full-time service of Srila Prabhupada's mission. Prabhuji is spearheading the preaching initiatives for the ISKCON Youth Services that trains thousands of young students in the science of Krishna consciousness. He's also involved in innumerable other services like serving on the Yatra Committee and leading book distribution service for ISKCON Chowpatty. He is a counselor, a mentor, and a guide to many devotees. He also travels internationally to countries in Africa and Central American continents to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, please, you may now take over the call, Prabhuji. Thank you once again, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, can you all hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.6, chapter 1. The chapter is entitled The History of the Life of Ajamil, and we are on text number 62. Stambayan atmanatmanam yavat sattvam yathashrutam nashashaka samadhatum mano madana vepitam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, not even to see a woman. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires. But because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind. Purport. Unless one is very strong in knowledge, patience, and proper bodily, mental, and intellectual behavior, controlling one's lusty desires is extremely difficult. Thus, after seeing a man embracing a young woman and practically doing everything required for sex life, even a fully qualified Brahmana, as described above, could not control his lusty desires and restrain himself from pursuing them. Because of the force of materialistic life, to maintain self-control is extremely difficult unless one is specifically under the protection of Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service. Purport ends here. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation once again. As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, not even to see a woman. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires, but because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind. Hare Krishna, so welcome all the devotees for this Bhakti Sangha Srimad Bhagavatam class, and thankful to the organizers for inviting me to take part in this beautiful Sangha of the beautiful program of sadhana, chanting, hearing, and association of devotees. So we are going through a very important chapter of the Bhagavatam, which is the chapter of Ajamil. And Ajamil's story is more or less the story of every conditioned soul, especially in the Kali Yuga. Ajamil, his story is from rags to riches, we can say like that, where he went through a very bad phase of life and ultimately he got mercy and then he made it in the spiritual world. So while Ajamil did reach the spiritual world, but at this time we are now going through that phase of life of Ajamil where he is undergoing a struggle in his life, right? We see that how he's trying his best to control his mind using his intellect power, his knowledge of Shastras, but somehow or other he is unable to control himself. And as the verses will progress in near future, we'll see that how he will fall down very, very bitterly in the trap of Maya, will give up his very exemplary parents, his wife, and take to very bad means to satisfy this prostitute. So when I was contemplating on this verse today as preparing for this class, I remember a very beautiful verse from the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 7th verse, which mentions Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Mana Shasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So Krishna says to Arjuna in this verse, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Eternally, every spirit soul is part and parcel of me, Krishna says. Mamaya Amsha, they are part and parcel of me. But now because they are in conditioned stage of life, thank you, they are in conditioned stage of life now, what is happening is this eternal part and parcel of mine is Manaha Shashta Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Karshati, they are struggling. They are struggling with the Manaha, mind, Shashta Indriyani. Indriya, Shashta means 6. Shashta Indriyani, they are struggling hard with their senses and their mind in this conditional stage of life. So this material world, yes, we call the material world as struggle for existence, survival of the fittest. Every conditioned soul in this material world is struggling for existence. One time I was giving a program to young people, and one of them asked me a question that why in human form, why the human beings are so always stressed. We don't find birds stressed, he mentioned to me. The birds are so free, they can fly anywhere, they are so free. And then I have to tell them that actually it is not that the birds are not stressed. Everyone in this material world is struggle for existence. I told him that you may see the bird flying very freely in the sky anywhere. It doesn't require a mode of communication, transportation to go from one place to another. As a human, we need. But in the sense of that freedom, we see when they're eating. Have you seen any bird eating something? Then when you see them eating, they are very, very conscious. When they're eating, they peck one grain and they look here and they look there. And then they peck the next one. So this shows that they are also in anxiety if someone is coming to catch them up. And I told these young people that, see, when you are eating, you don't see here, you don't see there. Right? That means you eat very comfortably. You got your food, you eat. So freedom may be there for them in terms of flying, but they have some reservations, some problems in some other walk of their life. So in one sense, every living entity in this material world is struggling. One may struggle in one phase, the other may not struggle in that phase, but he or she may struggle in some other phase of life. But struggle one has to. So therefore this whole material world is called Karshati. Srila Prabhupada mentioned the word Karshati is significant here. The purport Prabhupada said, Karshati means struggling or grappling hard. So everyone is grappling hard, as Prabhupada says, in this material world. And here we see Ajamil is also struggling, grappling hard. When I was thinking about the struggle, I remember Srila Prabhupada, back in his young age, he wrote a beautiful Vyas Puja offering to his spiritual master. We all know that Vyas Puja offering, where he mentioned, absolute ascension thou hast proved, impersonal calamity thou hast moved. So in that poem, Prabhupada makes a very beautiful analysis of this material world. I'll read those lines, few of those lines for all of you here. Some of these lines are here. O my master, the evangelic angel, give us thy light, light up thy candle. Struggle for existence, a human race, the only hope is divine grace. So it is mentioned a struggle for existence, a human race, and the only hope is his divine grace. The next one, misled we are all going astray. Misled we are all going astray. Forgotten Krishna we fallen souls, paying most heavy the illusion's toll. Such a nice line. Forgotten Krishna we fallen souls, paying most heavy the illusion's toll. The only hope is divine grace. Srila Prabhupada, this poem of Srila Prabhupada was very much liked by his spiritual master. And he asked that this should be printed in the Harmonies magazine. So when I was going to these two particular stanzas here, I could see that how Srila Prabhupada, in a very nutshell, captured the whole material world. Struggle for existence, a human race, the only hope is divine grace. So now if you see, analyze the life of Ajamil. Ajamil was having a life of goodness. He was trained by his father in Shastras, in Vedic rituals. He was helping. He actually had come out in the jungle or the forest to collect paraphernalia for his father's puja, for his father's worship. And somehow or other, in spite of being a Vedic follower, as we will see later in this series of verses ahead, he could not control his senses, he could not control his mind. Srila Prabhupada said that what Ajamil saw previously, Prabhupada said, in today's age, you will see it everywhere, in every nook and corner. Ajamil Ajamil was seeing something which was once in a blue moon, or once in a while such incident. But Prabhupada said this is happening common in Kali Yuga, everywhere. And Prabhupada mentioned, what will we do? We're all like, our state is like Ajamils. In fact, people in this material world are already fallen, right? Like one time, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, please pray that I will rise from my fallen condition. Something like that. Prabhupada, please pray that I can become a pure devotee. And Prabhupada checked him and said, Prabhupada said that first we should rise up from our fallen conditions. So we should become a human being and then become a devotee. One person asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, from today onwards, I have left meat eating, intoxication, everything. So he thought Prabhupada would be very happy. Prabhupada said, welcome, today you have become a human being. That means basically everyone in this material world, while following the materialistic way of life, are not even qualified as human beings. And when takes up Krishna consciousness, he becomes a human being, and then later on, as he progresses in Krishna consciousness, he gradually comes to the level of a Vaishnava. So, as Prabhupada said, that this kind of incidents happen very often in this age of Kali Yuga, and yet this International Society for Krishna Consciousness is like an oasis for all conditioned souls to come together and protect themselves from such distractions from the materialistic society. So, yes, everyone is struggling for existence, and we are all fighting. Our war is against Maya, who is a very powerful opponent. We don't stand any. We don't have any strength to stand against Maya, right? Because she is world champion, and she has been world champion for many centuries or yugas. In fact, this is a domain. Like sometimes a team, let's say a cricket team or a football team, has to play a match with an opponent, and that happens in the opponent's home pitch or their country. So generally, it is said that if someone is playing a match on his home pitch, he gets more advantage over his opponent. So for any team to play with an opponent which is stronger, and that too in that opponent's home pitch, the chances of winning is very less. Similarly, this is the home pitch of Mayadevi, material world. Durga, she is the Adhisthata Devi. She is the controller. And it is her pitch, home pitch, plus she is very strong. And yet we are trying to show our powers in front of her. So what are the chances, probability of winning against Maya? It is very bleak, very less. And yet we are told in our Krishna consciousness movement, keep struggling, keep fighting, and there is hope. As Prabhupada says, the only hope is divine grace. So what is our hope? Our hope is our Guru. Our hope is our Srila Prabhupada. Our hope is our association of devotees we every day cling on to. That is our hope. Like for example, let's take the same example, someone coming for a match, a cricket match or a football match, whatever match it is, and it's in opponent's country, opponent's home pitch. And then you see someone is playing a cricket match and the batsman comes out in the cricket match on the pitch. And the batsman is about to start scoring. And then you can see all over the stadium, everyone is cheering for the opposite team. There is not a single person in the stadium who is cheering for him. So we are in domain of Maya where everyone around us are all followers of Maya. They are all sold out to Maya. And we are so few devotees who are trying to go against the flow of Maya. So even in that circumstances, a team can win. Even in that circumstances, the batsman can actually score a century. How? How that will happen? All that the batsman should do is not see around the stadium how many followers of the opponent team are. Instead, he should see in the stands at that point, at that place where his own cricket team or his own team is sitting. And then he could see in that team, a handful of 11 to 12 players are sitting there. And there is a coach who is standing there and cheering, yes, you can do it. You can still do it. You have done before, you can do it. We are with you. So he has got instructions of his coach while he was doing practice, and now he has to perform on the pitch here. So while he is batting, while he is playing his cricket, he should focus on the team members, which are very handful, and he should focus on the coach, who is always guiding him, inspiring him. And if he remains in the focus, yet he stands a chance to play a winning match. So our condition is somewhat like that player who is in the domain of Maya, playing against Maya in our own home pitch. Yet if we connect with our coach, that's our guru, we connect with our team members, that are with our association of devotees, then still we can stand a chance. The only hope is divine grace. So we can see that association of devotees and association of Vaishnavas play a vital role in one's devotional life. We often see that when seasons change, the birds migrate from one nation to another. And it's a very, very long distance they have to cover. And we often see when the birds are flying, they don't fly alone, they fly together. And that too in a pattern. So there is a, sometimes we see some geese or some birds flying in a V pattern, right? And if anyone has the V pattern, why they fly in V pattern is that they want to stay together. When they stay together in V pattern, they don't get distracted. And secondly, as they stay together, they get enthusiasm, or they get a lot of nourishment by each other's association. The first person gets tired, he comes back, and the back person goes in the front and takes the lead. And together the caravan moves. And this way they cover a very, very large distance, which is very difficult for an ordinary bird to do. So this is the pattern which we see, which our acharyas, which our Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual masters have also told us that if you follow in a parampara, in association of devotees, even though there is a lot of struggle, yet we can make it. We can go through this ordeal of struggle very happily, and we can remain, even though we get distracted, yet we can come back again in the same association of devotees. So life is all about struggle, as I was mentioning, and the different struggles which we have are different for each devotee. The factors are different, the circumstances are different. In the case of Ajamil, he had problem with lust. Someone may have problem with anger, someone may have problem with greed, someone may have problem with pride, or a combination of them. But we should all know that we are all struggling and we have a hope. Generally, a sadhaka many times get very much depressed, or rather starts feeling negative within his heart, thinking that only he is struggling and everyone is happy. But in this material world, we should know this is also a play of Maya. Where Maya makes us think that we are the only ones suffering and everyone is happy. No, actually everyone is struggling. But the difference is everyone's struggle is unique struggle. Someone may be struggling with one particular senses, someone may struggle with other senses. As the saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Looks greener on the other side, but it's not necessary. It is only a saying. We always feel that the other party, the other people are better than me. But actually, if you go deep into each one's life, everyone is struggling. So there is struggle for existence. Anywhere in this material world we stay, there will be struggle. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Krishna says, right from Brahma Loka down to the Patal Loka, every planet is a place of misery. Then in Brahma Samhita, Brahma also mentions, Yas Turendra Gopam Athavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanu Rupa Falabhajanama Karmani Nirdhati Kintu Bhakti Chabhayam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham. Brahma compares the life of Indra, the king of the demigods, and the life of Indra Gopa, the smallest insect. Whether you are Indra or Indragopa, karmani nirdhati. We're all bound up by the life of karma. So life is always a struggle for those who are in conditioned souls, right? But the only hope is His divine grace, our spiritual master and our fellow association of devotees. One time Hari Shauri Prabhu, in the initial days of ISKCON, he was in Vrindavan and he had not yet become the personal assistant of Srila Prabhupada. So he was in Vrindavan and he was told that he was told to become the temple commander. And the most difficult task for him was to control the huge number of visitors who would come to take darshan in Krishna Balram temple at ISKCON Vrindavan. So he would arrange, he was very intelligent, so he was arranging all different kinds of queue management so that people can go in queue and it's all controlled flow of crowd. But somehow or other, we saw that the villagers, the Indians who were coming, they were not following him. And they would not follow the queue management and they would break the queue management. So many times he would have to push them, keep them pushing, go inside the queue, go inside the queue. And the hustle of pushing, what would happen is, there would be like fights ensue. Some Indians would push him and he would push them. So this would happen regularly. So one day Hari Shauri got a chance and told Prabhupada, what should I do? These people who come to our temple, they are from village, they don't know how to follow the system, and then I have to push. And when I push, they become angry, they become upset. So what should I do, Prabhupada? So Prabhupada gave a unique answer. Prabhupada said, push, but smile. So Hari Shauri, what is that? Prabhupada said, you push, you're always pushing, but smile. Seeing your smile, they may not take your push as very offense. They may accept the push. So Hari Shauri was once mentioning this past time, and he was also mentioning, Prabhupada was giving an indication to us that many times Krishna also pushes us. His pushing is what? All the different struggles we go through life. But all through that pushing, Krishna is also smiling. And Krishna is telling us, I am pushing you, but this push will help you. Just remember my smile, that it is all for your good. So we see that how in our life, uniquely, everyone is struggling with his unique struggles. And yet we should know that while we practice Krishna consciousness in association of devotees with blessings and instructions of our gurus, this push which Krishna has generated in our life will go through that understanding that it's Krishna who has arranged this push. It is good for us. And if we just remain in association of devotees, follow the instructions of our spiritual masters, this push we can go through, and then we see Krishna smiling us, awaiting us to come back to us. So life is all about uncertainties. Life is all about not much of control. Sometimes we dream of a situation in our life where we think that everything should be very much controlled and should be step 1, step 2, step 3, and everything should be known to us. Then it's very exciting. Like one time, one man went to a magician and told the magician that, my wife and I myself don't get together well. So the magician said, well, so why you come to me? So, I want something from you. You're a magician. Please help me. Whatever my wife does or tells me, she always displeases me. So give me something by which I can control with whatever my wife is doing on me. So the magician said, well, if you want something, I can help you, but I don't know whether it will work or not. So the magician gave the husband a magic wand. He said, you just show this magic band around his wife, and the wife will be in your control. And the man was very happy. Wow, such a beautiful, wonderful solution to my problem. So he came home, and the wife said, where were you so much time? I was waiting for you, you did not pick my call. And the man waved his magic wand. And the wife became very submissive. And the wife said, you came so late. What happened? I was waiting for you. What should I do for you? All good, pleasing talks. And he would keep waving the magic wand, and my wife was behaving very cool, very peaceful, very nice, submissive. In fact, she would not open his mouth also, open her mouth also, right? She was very happy, and he was very happy. For 1-2 days, he was very happy. The third day, he got bored. He was thinking, what is happening? My wife is not speaking anything. Whatever I say, she says, yes, I'll do that for you. And he became very bored with the whole the way the whole household life was. So finally he became tired. He came to the magician and said, "Take your magic wand. I don't want it." So what happened? Was the magic wand not useful as he wanted? Yeah, it was useful. But life was boring. Because she was in so much of my control that whatever I said, she said yes. And my married life was boring. There was no excitement in that. Rather, I would be more happy if she would be following me. She would obey me with her independence intact, not that I take her independence and I control her. So magician told him, yes, that's the fact. And that is the solution. Not that you try to control situation in life. Everything is as per your understanding, then life will become boring. Life will have no excitement. In fact, life is exciting if things are not in our control and we depend and we are excited to know what to do next. So we see that even Krishna also makes our life like that. We may think, why Krishna, you don't make me surrender 100% to you? Why you make me go through the struggles of life and make me learn my lesson in the hardest way? Just Krishna, just purify me in one stroke. But Krishna doesn't use the magic wand on us because he wants us to use our independent free will to surrender to him. And that's called love. No one can force love on others. Love has to come from one's personal free will. And this struggle which you undergo is actually a bitter struggle, but in the end, Krishna gives us a sweet lesson. If you understand that Krishna is helping us through all these struggles. So life is all about struggle, and life is all about even offering our struggles to Krishna. Like Krishna says in this beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yat juhoshi yadashi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam. Offer it to me. What is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is Yat Kurushva Madarpanam. Whatever you do, Krishna is saying, offer it to me. Yat Juhoshi, whatever you eat, offer it to me. Yat Tapasyasi. This is the silver lining here. Yat Tapasyasi, whatever tapasya do you do, or in other words, whatever struggles you undergo, Krishna is saying, offer it to me. And then Tat Kurushva Madarpanam. And this is the beautiful process of Bhakti Yoga where we can also offer our struggles and we depend on Krishna in our struggles. There are many beautiful stories I would like to illustrate at this point, but I'll pick up one story which I heard when I went to this holy place called as Pandharpur. Pandharpur is a place where Lord Vitthal, Lord Krishna stands holding hands on his hips, and he's calling everyone to come and beautifully take darshan of his wonderful deity form. So, not so far away from Pandharpur is one village called as Mangal Vedha. In this Maharashtra village, there are many devotees who would stay in this village, and they would come together and do satsang programs. And once in a year, for this beautiful Ekadashi called as Shayana Ekadashi or Ashadi Ekadashi, they would walk kilometers after kilometers, walk down from their village, chanting the holy names of Krishna, and visit Lord Vithal's temple in Pandharpur. So in that same village, there lived a prostitute. That prostitute was a very famous prostitute. She was very beautiful, and she would occasionally also go and perform for the Nawab of that area, who was a governor, who was a Muslim governor, who was the leader of that area, who was the main controller. So she was very famous for her beauty, for her charms, and in due course of time, because of her association with so many people, she got a child. She was pregnant. She gave birth to a child. That was a daughter. And a daughter was named as Kanho Patra. So this daughter also was brought up in the same place, prostitute's house. She was taught all the tricks of the trade. She eventually became a young girl, and the lady was waiting to hand over the legacy of her profession to her daughter, who was about to become a young lady. However, this young girl would always be not much respected by the whole village because she came as a daughter of the prostitute. But she was very excited when she would see devotees congregating together in the village having satsang. She was very far away and she would hear the lectures. She would take part in kirtan from very far away. She was very much attracted to this beautiful satsang. So one day she saw that all these devotees were gathering together and they were leaving for some place together. So she asked one of them, "Where are you going?" And he said, "We are going to visit our Lord Vitthal." Okay, where is that person? He said, "He stays in Pandharpur and we go every year." "Who is it?" So she also wanted to try out, who is this Vitthal for whom they are all praying so much? They are walking so much. So she asked, "Can I also come with you?" He said, "Well, you can't come with the whole group because it will be very much, I will question why you brought her. But since you are asking, you can walk with us, not with us, but a little far away from behind. And then you can follow where our group goes. And in this way, we can take you to Pandharpur." She became very excited. And she followed the whole satsang. The group was going ahead doing kirtan and she was walking a few steps behind alone. And she was just happy being with them. And finally, they arrived at Pandharpur Dham. And they're all standing in a huge line to take darshan of Lord Vitthal. So as she was inching closer and closer to the altar where Lord Vitthal stands, very excited to see Lord Vitthal, she was thinking, who is this person for whom they are walking so much? They are waiting in a big queue to take his darshan. I don't know who is this person. So as she inched closer and she came in, then direct vision of the deity was a little far away still. The line was still far, but she could see the deity. And she was thinking, this person, he looks like a stone. He's a stone, black stone. But the way people were interacting and dancing, now we are seeing Vitthal, now we're going to go close to him and touch his feet. The excitement was going so much that Kanopatra decided to test. Let me go first and test this person, whether this person is there or just a stone. She was intense thinking, if he's really a person, then when I catch hold of his feet very strongly, tightly, he'll be discomforted. And he will tell me, "Hey, remove your hand from my leg," right? Sometimes you may, if some person is sitting somewhere and just hold him tightly, then he will be discomforted. So she thought, if he's a person, he will be discomforted if I catch his feet very strong. So as she came closer and closer, and finally she was exactly in front of Lord Vitthal. In Lord Vithal's temple, this unique temple, anyone can go inside the altar and they can touch the feet of Lord Vitthal. So she went and clasped the lotus feet of Lord Vitthal and she pressed it tight, so tight as if just like kind of breaking the whole feet. So tight she pressed. And Lord Vitthal was knowing that she is testing my personal presence. So Lord Vitthal smiled and said, "Hey Kanu, why are you testing me? I'm here. See, I'm smiling at you." And Lord Vitthal spoke to her and her life was transformed. She understood that this is not a deity or a stone. It's Krishna standing there. In fact, Krishna wanted to prove to the whole world that she came and tested me and I purified her. So the place where she had touched Krishna very strongly with her hands, one of the hands entered Krishna's deity feet and it bored a hole in the feet. Even today also, if you get to see Lord Vithal's beautiful deity picture, if you get a chance to see the lotus feet of the deity, you will see there's a hole in the feet. And that's the Kanopatra's one finger which went inside to show to the world that yes, I did transform the heart of Kanopatra and she understood that I'm a person. So Kanopatra became such a devotee of Lord Vitthal in Pandharpur that she stayed in Pandharpur. The whole group came back to Mangalveda village. But she said, "I'll not go back, I'll stay." So she was staying somewhere wherever she could find a place and she was doing, she began to do a bhajan, a sadhana. Eventually the Nawab who was salarying the whole profession of the prostitute came to me that my daughter has not come back again. So the complaint went to Nawab and Nawab said, "Where has she gone? She's the one who's going to dance in my court. Where has she gone?" And she was told that she is in Pandharpur. So Nawab became very disturbed. The Nawab sent his soldiers to Pandharpur and forcibly bring her back to the court. Now when the Nawab soldiers came to Pandharpur and they were searching frantically for her, many devotees in Pandharpur told her that Nawab's soldiers have come and they're going to take you forcibly away from Pandharpur. And she realized that, what will happen? They are very strong, I'm very weak. So she had no hope. She was depending on Krishna. She was struggling. In that struggle, she thought, let me struggle. If I have to struggle, let me struggle for Krishna. Let me struggle and depend on Krishna. So she ran to the deity of Vitthal and she caught hold of Krishna's feet, and she sang very beautiful bhajan. That's one of the very sweet bhajans she sang in Marathi language. That she mentions in that song that, please don't take my exam so severely that I go away from you. I'm struggling for you. I'm struggling for you, my Lord. But let the struggle be such that I don't fail in that struggle. Please help me. And if I have to go away from you, from Pandharpur Dham, then there stands no chance for me to keep my life going on. And while saying that, she was praying to Lord Vittal that they're going to come and take me away, but I want to be at your lotus feet. And saying that, this great devotee, young devotee, she breathed her last and gave up her life at the feet of Lord Vittal. And she went back home. All the pujaris in the temple, they were moved that a lady has dropped down dead at the feet, clasping the feet of Lord Vittal, which has never happened in the past before. And everyone said, oh, she's a daughter of God. She should throw her body in the Chandrabhaga river or throw it somewhere. She doesn't deserve anything like that. And the pujari said, no. Even great saints, they have aspiration to die at the feet of Lord Vittal. They don't get chance. She got a chance. She is indeed a saint. So they all decided that she should be buried, cremated within the temple premises. So even today, when we go to Pandharpur temple, there's a place where it's called the tomb or the samadhi of Kanopatra, where she was cremated. And when she was cremated, out from the samadhi, a tree came out. And the tree now still stands there as a witness to this beautiful story of Kanopatra. Of course, the tree is now old and almost like dead, only the branches there. But every person who goes to this temple of Pandharpur Dham, he has to go in such a way that the first darshan, as he steps down the temple from the highway alley of the staircases, the first thing is he touches the tree and takes blessings of the tree, which is nothing but Kanopatra's samadhi, and they enters the temple hall and then the altar. So this is a story of how one lady, Kanopatra, who struggled throughout her life, offered her struggle for Krishna, and Krishna reciprocated with her. So I was mentioning that there are many such stories of great devotees who underwent a lot of struggle. Devotees in their life don't have a smooth run anywhere. They always go through high struggles. And our acharyas have told us to also struggle. Whatever struggle we go through, we should be happy with the struggle, enjoy the struggle, knowing that it is good for us. Like, for example, I was once in this place, one temple, where His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj was visiting. So I wanted to go and meet Maharaj and take his blessings. So I went and offered obeisance to Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. And as soon as I got up and wanted to talk to Maharaj, Maharaj said, so how are you, Baladev? So I said, well, I was shocked by this question, because how are you is a simple question, but when your friend is asking you, your peers ask you, how are you? You just say, I am fine. But someone very senior who is very much inspiring you in your spiritual life, like your Shiksha Guru kind of thing, if he asks you a question, how are you? Then you need to give a proper answer, a philosophical answer or a real answer. So I took some time and then said, Maharaj, I'm struggling. So Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj immediately asked me, are you struggling to remain in this world or go out of this world? So that was very nice question, which I started reflecting. Yes, we are struggling. What is our struggle? Do we want to remain in this material world happy? Or we're struggling to come out of our anarthas and depend more on Krishna? So based on a struggle, we will smile or we will cry. So if you want to depend on Krishna, move towards Krishna, all our struggles are very good. I will give you an example of a cricket match. Let me also give one more example. One time a cricket match was going on, and there were two batsmen who were playing on the crease. So one batsman, he scored 35 runs. How many? 35 runs. After scoring 35 runs, he removed his helmet, took his bat, and started waving at the crowd. So everyone was surprised why he's waving at 35 runs. So his co-partner, the other batsman, came and said, my dear friend, you have not scored 50 runs. If you score 50, then you have to wave, remove your helmet, and everyone waves half century. Or if you score 100, a century. Or if the team, the total runs of the team is somewhere which creates a major breakthrough, big score, then you wave. Why are you waving at 35? So the batsman, he said, well, you do not know. Only one who has always struggled in his studies, in his exam, he becomes excited when he reaches 35. She was talking about how in exams, there is 100 marks paper and the passing mark is 35. So I always struggled to get 35. And now in this cricket match, I got 35. So I'm excited I got 35. So I see this example as how he was excited even in his struggle. He got a 35, but he was excited that I got something. So in our life, when we struggle, if we have association of devotees, we have instructions of our Guru with us. That struggle could be happy struggle. As devotees, they keep encouraging us in our struggle. They keep helping us and say, yes, please go ahead. Krishna is always with us. And Guru is always with us. We are all together. Life is all about struggle. And as you want to go through struggles, we should know that there is a saying in English, no pain and no gain. In the Spanish world, I remember there's someone devotee, a Spanish devotee, told me the same thing. So no dollar, no dollar. So dollar means money, and no dollar means no pain. So no pain and no gain. So in this way, we can see that how Ajamil is going through this life of struggle, and it's a very hard struggle he is going to endeavor through. All through the struggles, there is a silver lining waiting for him. He will soon come across some ray of hope because of his previous practice. He will get some mercy of Vaishnavas. He will get some mercy of the holy name, and he will get it through. And through all that struggle, again, he will come out with flying colors, and he will lead a life of pure Krishna consciousness. So this is something which I feel that all we need at this time of our life in our struggle is we need some cheers, some enthusiasm and some encouragement. And that will come when we stick to the association of devotees and we stick to the Vani and the instructions of our spiritual masters. And then the struggle which we are undergoing also will become a variable, a smiling struggle towards Krishna. So thank you so much for joining today. I'll end here. If any comments or any questions, we are welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class. So altogether, it was really very fine. So it's saying about the struggle of existence in this material world. So very good example you gave about the cricket match. The coach who is in our material life, the coaches are Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and our Lord Shri Krishna. And you quoted few shlokas from Bhagavad Gita also. And lastly, which you told was, I remembered about the lecture from Amarendra Prabhuji that he told, no God, that is K-N-O-W, no God, then you will know yourself. If no God, that is N-O, no God, then we will not know ourselves. So then there is no possibility to get out of this material world if you do not know the God. So very nice, Prabhuji. And even the story, the pastime which you told about Kanha Padra. So though I have heard, but still it was very, I heard this pastime about a couple of years before. Now it was really shame to hear it again. Thank you so much for that, Prabhuji. So devotees, any questions, realizations, please unmute yourselves and go ahead. Hare Krishna. Shukar Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Baladev Prabhu. So nice to
Hare
hear
Krishna.
a good pastime from Baladev Prabhu.
Dhanavad.
So this struggle which we are going through, it is giving a lot of confidence when you tell that, we are going through trouble, but we become okay as soon as that. But some people are struggling so much. See, we are only able to pray, but they are feeling like, how to survive like that, so much problem in the office, some people have problem in the house, and everything in a distress. So it becomes difficult to continue the devotional service. Some people say, chanting अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है क्योंकि बहुत ऑफिस में भी problem है, politics है, वो है, ये है. So it is easy to advise, but how to cope up is the only difficulty, that how they'll be able to do Akka chanting, everything, let everything happen. So that determination.
Thank you for a nice question. Well, yeah.
Thank
It is
you.
easy to advise.
Thank you,
It is,
Prabhuji.
yeah. Can I answer?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji. Please go ahead.
As you said, it is very easy to advise, but difficult to practice when it comes upon us, right? Like, for example, if someone asks us how to overcome difficulties in life, it's very easy to give a philosophical answer. But we need to know that those difficulties will come also in our life, right? It's just a matter of time. Like Srila Prabhupada mentions a very funny analogy. So it is an analogy of cow dung. So few cow dungs were thrown in the fire and they're burning and they're shouting, "Please remove me, we are getting burned, we are getting burned." And there was another cow dung which was on the wall, getting dried, and he was laughing, "Hey, see, you're getting burned, you're getting the burn." And the cow dung cakes were getting burned. He said, "Well, don't laugh. Next is your turn tomorrow." Right? So, Prabhu, everyone has to go through unique life lessons. No one is spared. Someone is going it through now. Someone has gone it through yesterday. Someone will go it through tomorrow. Everyone will have a chance. So it is not only few of them will go through and few will not go through. Everyone will go through. It will be now, later, some other time. So yes, when you go through, that problem is intense, no doubt about it. So while I would say that sometimes they become so intense that our practice gets affected. But our faith should not be affected, right? Our faith should not be affected. Our faith should remain strong. And we should remember all the instructions which we have received, and we should continue to receive instructions that it is ultimately a temporary phase of life. In this material world, there is problem, but problems are not eternal. It's a phase. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sita ushna sukha dukkhada agama paino nityastam stitikshvasva bharat. Krishna did not give a magical solution to Arjuna's problem. Arjuna, you're suffering, don't worry. Just read Bhagavad Gita and you'll be happy. Krishna did not give that formula. Krishna said, you should treat happiness and distress like winter and summer season. And if you're going through very difficult phases of winter season, you have to wait for a few months. This will also pass on. So yes, when we go through intense phase of life, we need the association of devotees all the more. But actually what happens when we go through intense phase of sufferings, we give up the association of devotees. We give up our practices. And that's where we fall trapped to these material conditionings. When we need the most, we don't take it the most. So what our parampara, our Srimad Bhagavatam is offering here is that if we know that such situations will come to our life, then we should prepare before time that I can be the next person. Always we should remember that life is full of inabilities. Padam padam yadvipadam natesha. It is not only for few devotees, it is for everyone in this particular. So if we anticipate the problems will come and we are ready mentally, then I think so we will not be very much challenged, or we will not fall prey to circumstances. The only problem is we don't feel that it will happen to me, right? We feel that I am now a devotee, so everything will be all okay, everything will be cozy. Krishna will always smile, and I also smile. Go good. Not necessary. No? Not necessary. This beautiful story which I heard once was one lady, she lost her child and she became very distraught. So she went to Gautam Buddha and she started crying, oh Gautam Buddha, please help me. I'm dying out of pain. My son has died. I am the most pained. I'm the most sorrowful lady in the whole existence. And Gautam Buddha said, well, I can help you. I can remove your sorrow. I can help you. So yes, please help me. What can I do? He said, all you need to do is get me some few grains of rice. I'll cook it for you and I'll feed you. Your happiness will come, all miseries will go away. She was very happy. Wow. Immediately I'll get the rice from my house. It's not from my house. You should get rice from any house other than your house. Or is it I'll go to my neighbor's house? So yeah, go to neighbor and ask for some handful of rice. But before asking them the rice, ask them that is there anyone in your house who has died in past? And I want rice from that house where no one has died in their house. And she mentioned, well, someone must have died in some house. Maybe some house will find someone not died. She went to each and every house in the village. And she realized every time she asked that question, that lady or that person in the house said, well, we had a very tough time when our relatives died. It was such a painful thing. But now we have overcome that pain. So she went to all the houses and finally she came and said, Gautam Buddha, I could not find even one house where there was pain. So Gautam Buddha told her that what you're going through now, they have gone through that previously. And when they're going through it, you're not going through it. So it's a matter of time, everyone will go through it. So when we know that everyone is going to go through it, through birth, old age, disease and death, we might as well prepare ourselves. We might as well prepare ourselves. We are indeed very fortunate. At least we are aware of these things will come to our life. People who are in material world, they are completely in ignorance. They think everything is going to be good in their life. Yet, because we haven't come in touch with Krishna conscious philosophy, we know this material world is a miserable place. And what is the option? The option is practice Krishna consciousness and get out of this place. The materialistic people have no hope. They don't have any solution. They have no option. But at least as devotees, we have option. So yes, we will go through it now, later, or many more times. But one thing we should know that when we go through it, we should prepare ourselves in our consciousness beforehand. And also we should know that when we go through it, Krishna will not test beyond our limits. Krishna knows how much we can manage, and Krishna will only test that much. And through that test, if you go through a test, whenever we go through a test in the past, if we see behind, we have a smile, have a laugh. Oh, that was a good one. I learned so much of lessons. So yes, sometimes we learn lessons through such struggles. And those lessons remain etched in our memory, in our heart for a long, long time. So Prabhu, as I said, I am in one sense advising you when times are okay in both our lives. But it is actually when I'm telling you, I'm telling myself, well, prepare yourself.
Because this happened to one of the Radhanath disciples only, my very good friend. He is then Bhakti Shastri, the software engineer. He was staying and he got a job in Dubai, got the offer letter, and then suddenly the day he's traveling, they say, this offer is cancelled, you wait. He said, I've resigned the job, what do I do? No, you have to wait for some time. And the same company is offering some other job for 1/3 the salary. So they wanted to just cheat him now. So I said, we tolerate and take what can be done. You cannot be without any job. And without job, the market will go down. So like that cheating going on, the Wipro, one big multinational company did like this. So he asked me, what do I do?
Yeah, let us offer a prayer to this devotee. That's one thing. One thing we can help a devotee if someone is in a position of helping him get a job, well and good. That's also good help. And if you are not in position to help him, at least you can offer prayer. Right?
Prayer.
We can, if for example, if the devotee friend is very close to you, you can offer an extra mala for him, one more extra chanting round for him.
Yeah.
And that will definitely help him to go through that pain.
Yes.
Will you do that, Prabhu, for him?
Definitely.
Can you do that?
Thank you very much, Baladev Prabhu. Bahut dhanyawad. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Puja Mataji, please go ahead. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, wonderful class. I just, my question is just, I just want to know that what should be the mood of chanting? Because I am a very much fallen soul of the earth, so I am struggling in chanting. What should be the right mood? I used to recite the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the way Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Or Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, to complete the rounds. So, I mean, my question, I just want to ask you that important is the quality or the
Quality or the? I didn't get the last part. Haribol, Mataji, the last part was what?
The quality of the
Mataji, quantity. She's asking about the quality or the quantity.
Quality and quantity. Okay. Since how many years you are practicing Krishna consciousness, Puja Mataji?
Prabhuji, I am the beginner. Last 2 years.
Okay, good. Last 2 years you're chanting. How many rounds you chant now? Sorry if I'm asking a very personal question.
16, Prabhuji.
Yeah, no problem. Good. So, see, I don't want to go into technicalities of chanting and all that because it's a personal thing. But you see how much time you have got. If you can chant slowly, you can chant slowly. So you are thinking that.
Yes, Prabhuji, that is the problem. Na, sometimes I complete my round at 12 a.m.
Midnight.
From the morning. I mean, I feel satisfied when I chant like in this manner, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Not in that way, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Just this is the, I mean, actually my English is not so good, so I just want to convey my message to you that what should be the mood, especially on the Janmashtami, the festival, on the festival, as you know that me, तो किस तरह से प्रभु जी करना है, बेसिकली उस दिन क्या स्पीड में कर सकते हैं या किस तरीके से?
Whatever makes you comfortable, you do that. Like for example, there is no velocity speed which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Prabhupada has given by which you should chant. It should not. So basically, it depends on one's comfort. And I have seen many devotees who chant really slow because they feel it good, and they don't mind spending more hours in chanting. So if you have time and you can do that, why not? If you're comfortable, do it. Who stopped? Anyone else? There is no one who has told that you have to chant within this stipulated time. You do as you feel comfortable. That's most important. In the beginning stage, you come to a stage where you can chant and you're comfortable and things around your family life also is okay. You can manage that much time. Well, go and do it. No problem. As long as you're chanting and you're satisfied after chanting. There are chanted quality rounds and quantity also is done. So I would say that with the little limited information which I have about you and your practices in Krishna consciousness, this is what I would say. If you know that nothing is bothering you, go ahead, chant as you wish. But if there is something which is bothering you in terms of your household life, your family, and you're not able to get time for them, then in that case, I would suggest that you meet some devotee who is staying where you are staying. Definitely, you may have some devotee who has inspired you in your Krishna consciousness. And you check out with him what he does, because he's already chanting Krishna for many years. So he may also give you some tips to work on that. Nonetheless, but at least I have heard that you don't have to worry so much. If you are able to comfortably chant your rounds at your own pace and satisfied doing it, who is going to stop you? Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry to ask very basic question.
No,
But
it's a very important question. There is no basic. This is a problem is that our basics are wrong. Therefore, we have to always question on basics and also answer on basics.
I'm in nursery class, Prabhuji. So
don't worry, we are all nursery classes only. Prabhupada PhD.
Yes. Prabhuji, my another question is that how can we make Krishna supremely satisfied, supremely happy?
Yeah, it's a very beautiful question. We in the morning chant this Mangalastakam, right? This Mangalarti. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati. The only way to satisfy Lord Shri Krishna is to satisfy one's own Guru. So if you have a guru, please abide by the instructions of your guru, listen to his instructions. Someone told me a very beautiful thing, that the best organ or the best way, the best instrument by which you can serve your guru is through your ears. So if you use your ears in serving your guru by hearing his Vani, then you can be most, you're able to serve your spiritual master the most and please him the most, because the most important thing is one's Vani of Guru, because Vani supersedes Vapu. Vapu one may get chance to associate or not associate, but Vani every time you can associate just by hearing his words, his inspiration. So please hear your spiritual master. If you're initiated, if you're not yet initiated, not choosing your spiritual master, hear Prabhupada. And in this way, hear Guru, Prabhupada, both of their instructions regularly. And yes, that's the most easiest way to please Krishna. Now, Krishna is always smiling, but we are not able to see that smile. But as we follow our spiritual authorities, one day in our life, we will be able to see. I was hearing today morning a lecture of Srila Prabhupada. And while speaking, an incident, Prabhupada said, why can't we see Krishna smiling? Because we are still a bunch of nonsense, Prabhupada said. We are not see clean. And one day we practice Krishna consciousness, what will happen? From nonsense will make some sense. And when Krishna will see some sense coming out of us, Krishna will smile at us and we'll be able to see Krishna smiling. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Sorry again, Prabhuji, to ask very kiddish question.
Thank you for your nice question.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Balaram
Krishna.
Prasad Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Baladev Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, thank you for explaining many aspects of a struggle and what's the outcome of a struggle as well. I have gone through many struggles in my life, losing one family member, dearest. And the kids are also, it's not an easy job. We might, as you know, we can always preach, and when it comes to our own circumstances, it's actually very depressing. I know we have that strength. We'll always say yes, Krishna will give us the strength and have the faith. But end of the day, still we lose that member, right? It's a struggle as well. When we always say that, when it comes to our personal lives, then we understand what that struggle is. Even though we tell somebody else, and it is not the body, it's the soul, it's okay. But it comes to a personal life, okay, take it and see how you handle is $1 million question. So it takes time to heal and takes time to, but of course the strength is there with the devotees of Vaishnavas. That's what we feel and have faith. But still, it's not an easy job. So how do we, day to day, end of the day, we still remember, every day we'll remember the loss. And so how do we go through this, Prabhuji?
Thank you for your practical question, and I'm with you with understanding what you are going through for losing a very near and dear one in your life. Well, as we see that when the wounds are very deep, it takes time to heal. All wounds are of not same type. Some wounds are just scratches, some are burns, some are very deep infections. So based on the wound, it takes time to heal. And based on the wound, it also takes a different doctor to heal it. You go to ordinary doctor, he will heal your small scratches. Sometimes you don't require doctor also to heal your scratches. You just wait, they just dry out. But if you get burned, then you go to a particular doctor. If you have a very deep infection, then you go to a surgery. So the deeper the wound, we require more and more help in healing the wound. So, Prabhu, yes, while the association of devotees are there, in such cases, we need to also take shelter of a personal association of a mentor or a guide who is very advanced, who will help us go through it. Sometimes such devotees have experience, realized knowledge, realized knowledge, and sometimes the devotees who are advanced may also have such experience in their own life of losing a near dear one and how they cope with it, cope with the whole situation. So, yes, Prabhu, I am with you. I'm not don't want to quote much philosophy in that, because when it comes to pain, philosophy doesn't much help us healing the wound. But in our Vaishnava circle, as if you ask me, I have in my own personal life, I've traveled a lot of places in my preaching, and yes, I have seen many devotees like who have gone through a lot of struggles in losing very, very important member in their whole life, young people. So then that pain is really, really difficult. In some cases, some devotees also have a lot of issues with their psychic because of this loss, sudden loss. It takes time to heal that. So I'm not denying the fact that this is a problem, but I am mentioning that yeah, we have to go through it, and we have need proper guidance and association of more advanced devotees to help us cope with this stress and help us to not mitigate the pain, but bear the pain and live through it, and get some practical advice of how we can move ahead. And that's what I can tell you, because right now at this time I do not know your particular situation, so I can give only a generic answer. I'm sorry for that, but I hope I hope I can understand what my feelings are for you, and hope you could take some small thing which I could convey to you. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, Prabhu. Everything helps, actually. We may think that every instruction, every word of Krishna, because it's on behalf of spiritual master you're speaking, in that way, I'm thinking, every word is coming true. Yeah, more of association. That's why we share with others to ask and see, hey, what is that we can do, right? So that's why I'm asking that question to you as well. So that helps. Maybe a little bit here and there. It may not be completely satisfied. At least the hope is important. That's all. I feel that. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
And we all should offer special prayers to Prabhu and his family to bear this and to come out of this as happy as possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Megha Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances, all gracious Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Prabhuji, were very, very wonderful class about practical examples of everyone is struggling, right? It's just different flavor. I had heard a lecture. My Her Grace Nitai Sevani Mataji, and she had said this in her lecture that everyone has problems. Some people think that they have the worst problems, but it's everyone has a different flavor, right? As you said. My question to you is, I had heard this was a question actually asked to me by one of the individuals who's a devotee as well, and she had asked her mentor about she has struggles in her life, and she's saying that in Kali Yuga we should, and she was advised that in Kali Yuga we should act according to how someone else is acting and treating us. And my question, because initially my comment was, we should try to aspire to become like the qualities that Krishna is saying, the 26 qualities of a devotee. So we should try to aspire to have these qualities, to the best of our capacity, and trying to please Krishna. But then this was told that, what if someone is going through, like, even, I mean, this is not with her, but in general, like, what if someone is going through some actual, torture, not just mental torture, but like physical torture or something? In those cases, is that like you just be tolerant and you take it and think that this is Krishna's way of I guess purifying me, or what do you do in those instances? And I didn't have an answer, honestly. So I kind of like just listened. So in future, if I get these questions, what is the best response, and how do I respond to these types of questions?
Yeah, thank you for that nice question. When we hear the word struggle, what do you visualize that? Struggle is just sit like this and bear it. Struggle means you struggle to not have that struggle, right? That pain which is coming. That's called struggle. So it is. I won't say that Krishna is saying not to refrain or to avoid the pain. It is first of all every human being has the sentient has a inner desire of not getting pain in their life. So when we call struggle, when we discuss about struggle, it doesn't mean that we don't avoid that. We should definitely try to avoid that. And when we know that it's part of life and we cannot do anything much and we're trying our best to come out of a struggle, we also depend on Guru and Krishna. Even while actually taking association of devotees and asking for a solution to our struggle, it itself is trying to come out of a struggle, right? So if someone is trying to say that if you're struggling, just accept Krishna's mercy, then I would say that's not the right way of understanding the struggle. We should try our best way to come out of it. We cannot come out of it, then we depend on Krishna and take help of Krishna's devotees, Krishna's instructions to Guru. So if someone is going through physical torture, definitely one should try to avoid it. See, Draupadi is an example. Draupadi is the most pure devotee of Krishna. Her name was Krishna. Krishna gave her own name, Krishna. So Draupadi, when she was in trouble, she did not say, Krishna, what can I do? She tried her best. She kept her, she used her own strength. She was not an ordinary, very frail lady. She was Kshatriyani. She was a fighter. She was a wife of 5 very important fighters. She was born in a Kshatriya race. So she, first of all, used all her strength to protect herself from Dushasana. And she could not. Then she later depended on her husbands, who were also devotees. And when everyone failed to protect her, then she said, now, whatever strength I had, I could not. I used it, but it was of no way. And she was then pulling her sari and also praying for Krishna. Then she realized that my praying was not intense. And finally she said, Krishna, I depend on you. And she prayed to Krishna. So I could say this is a stepwise progressive formula to depend on Krishna. Krishna is happy that we first use our strength to overcome situation. Then we depend on Krishna's devotees. Nothing happens. They are also trying their best. They can't help us. Then ultimately Krishna's holy name, Krishna is the one. We depend on him fully.
Okay, so in that regards, thank you for clarifying the physical abuse kind of aspect. But let's say now then there is this mental, like one's own mind is magnifying the problem more than it really is there, right? In those instances, should we take the other person who's giving that hard time to us by our minds, right? It's in our perception, in a way that we should also be giving that same thing back. I was thinking that's not true, but I would like to have your understanding, like should we be like tit for tat? I thought we're supposed to tolerate that, right? Like, I mean, this was Radhesham Das Prabhu's lecture, like tit for tat or tolerate that. So what is the right approach for that those kinds of situations?
Actually in our daily life we have to tolerate so much, right? We tolerate first of all, we tolerate our own self, the way we behave. We have uncontrolled behavior. One day we think we should be not doing like that, the next day we fall prey to the same way, very conditioning which we are in. We have tolerate the outside world. We have tolerate the weather around us, the hot weather, the cold weather. So the life is full of tolerance, right? Tarorapi Sahishna. So yeah, tolerance is a basic element to deal any problem. But at the same time, while tolerating, if we have a choice, of mending the problem. Why not try to mend the problem? Change the problem, seek solution to that problem. Like for example, if you're traveling outside and it's very hot sun, now you have no option. What you can do? You have to travel in the hot sun. So you do that. But if you have a choice of traveling in a car or a taxi or a cab or a bus which has AC facility, why not try that? If you have facility, you do that.
Right.
Like one time, Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk on the Visakhapatnam beach, and all the devotees they wanted to join Prabhupada on a morning walk. So all the devotees they just wore whatever chappals, slippers, footwear they got, because those times they just wore and went away. The last devotee who came, he did not have anything to wear. There was no chappal. He said, "Hell with chappal, I'll just go like this only." Sand was hot. So he came running, and Prabhupada let him come running on the sand. It was struggling to come. And Prabhupada waited for him to come. So he came very close to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, "Why are you doing so much tapasya?" So Krishna consciousness already has so much tapasya. Why add more? Right? So we already doing tapasya of practicing Krishna consciousness in a difficult material world, trying to stay in tune with devotees, and more tapasyas are coming in. Don't take more tapasyas. Whatever is needful, do it. Do the needful, right?
Right.
So we do the needful, take help. Sometimes in such cases of relationship, we also requires, if we require professional help, why not take professional help? We should not think that we are devotees who don't require professional help. I would say example of professional help is simple. Like for example, if you are going for a Rath Yatra. So if you're going on a Rath Yatra, let's take an Indian example. I don't know where you come from, but I'm taking an Indian example. I'm going for a Rath Yatra. I'm wearing a nice chappal, and then suddenly while pulling the Rath, someone steps on my chappal, and the chappal's threads come out, and now it's very difficult for me to walk also because I'm struggling with one chappal which is broken. All I have to do is go out and look for a cobbler. Just go to a cobbler, pay him the money, he will mend the shoes. The whole idea of going to cobbler is not that you visit the cobbler and sit and gossip with him and take his instruction. Just use the cobbler, fit your chappal, come back and join Rath Yatra. So professional help is also like that. When you take professional help, it is all for coming back strongly in our Krishna consciousness. Not that we just go deep into all this professional, this good, this person is good, he is more practical than our devotees. Those kind of things should not happen in our life. Just take the help that is required and come back to our devotional service. So next case, they go to cobbler, pay the money, the work is done, you forget the cobbler, come back and join the Rath. Similarly, we should also, if required, if we cannot do it ourselves, if devotees are unable to help us, and they advise that it's really nice, this requires some professional help. When you go to professional help, not to give your heart to the person, but just get the work done and come out and practice Krishna consciousness. Whatever is needful has to be done to make our Krishna consciousness much more easier to practice.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Haribol, Hare Krishna.
So thank you.
Thank
all
you so
for
much,
joining.
Prabhuji.
For joining
Thank you
today.
so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class. So, devotees, let's pay our obeisances. Thank you for giving your valuable time and association. We need your association in future also. With very wonderful pastimes. Devotees, let's pay our obeisances. Vanchakalpatrupasya.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रभुपाद की जय। His Grace Baladev Das Prabhu Ji ki jai.
Jai.
Everybody.
जय